Hey, good morning and welcome to Breakthrough Walls. I'm Ken Walls and I'm your host. And I don't have a suit coat on today. I apologize for that. But anyway, so listen, I want to. I got somebody pretty special on today. You'll see here in just a minute. This woman was introduced to me by a mutual friend, and I have got to tell you that she has an amazing story. I mean, absolutely amazing story. And she's going to prove it, actually. So I want to welcome my new friend, Kristin Tibbs, to the show. Kristin, welcome to the show.
Thank you so much for having me.
Oh, it's my pleasure, my honor. Like you're pretty amazing. What you've done is absolutely amazing, and I can't wait for you to share with the rest of the world what you've accomplished. It's amazing. So we got to give a shout out to Natalie, though. She introduced us, Natalie Phillips.
Yes.
We love Dr. Natalie, don't we?
So much.
She's amazing. She is absolutely amazing. So she's going to be here at my house, I think, here in a few days. She's going to come by and have dinner with us. So that's exciting.
Yes.
Yeah. So, Kristin, why don't we start with this show was, I created this show about almost a year ago now. It's just shy of that, 10 or 11 months ago. I've interviewed over 160 celebrities and entrepreneurs. You might be the biggest celebrity I've had on so far. And, and I think you have an amazing story, and I want you to start off with it. Look, this is about helping people have a personal breakthrough, a business breakthrough. It's about helping people, and I think your story is going to help a lot of people. So let's start with telling everybody where you were born and raised.
So I was born and raised in a small little town called Salida, Colorado. About that time, I think the population was about 7,500 people.
Wow.
So small little mountain town.
In Colorado.
In Colorado. Mm-hmm.
Isn't that the marijuana capital of the world now?
That's what I guess we're known for.
I'm just kidding. I'm kidding. So you were born and raised in what'd you say? Salida. Salida. So a little tiny mountain town in Colorado. And what was it like for you growing up in this little tiny mountain town?
At that time in my life, I wasn't taking advantage of what that area had to offer. It's incredible. 14,000 peaks to climb, whitewater rafting. I mean, it's definite skiing, tourist place. But that wasn't my life at that time. So, I was just in a small little town making it through.
Making it through. Okay.
Yeah.
So that's where you went to, like, grade school and middle school and high school and all of that?
Yep. I was born and raised there. And at 17, left and went on to northern Colorado and pursued what I thought at the time was what I was meant to do, which was doing hair. And I did that for 15 years.
For how long?
15.
15 years.
Yes.
Okay. And you said in northern Colorado?
Yes.
That's gorgeous up there, by the way. I've driven through northern Cal. It was majestic. That's the only way I know how to put it. Like, it was breathtaking. Yeah. So here you are in northern Colorado doing hair, right?
Yes.
And and you did that for 15 years. So that's a long stretch.
Yeah.
Did anything interesting happen in those 15 years?
Of course. My transformation happened.
Oh, it did?
Yeah.
From what to what?
So when I started doing hair, I was young, 19, and definitely not in the place I'm at now. I was not at all in good health, both physically or mentally. I loved doing hair though, so I definitely always had this passion to make people feel better. Um, and doing hair was such an easy way to touch people, you know. You can make them feel better on the outside. You make them feel better, right?
Mm-hmm.
And what's funny about that is I was at a place that I really struggled with myself. I was, again, not in good health and not comfortable with what I saw in the mirror. And I had to stand in front of a mirror 12 hours a day. I couldn't get away from the truth of what was happening. And I slowly started my journey into health. And yeah, please.
Well, 1 second. So but like, what was happening? Let's not get into the journey into health yet. Let's talk about the journey into not health.
Yeah. So basically, I was born with celiac disease, but it was not discovered until I was 18 months old.
Mm.
And so it's ironic and it's not ironic that I was put here with health issues, and it's kind of been this trying to discover my way through health my whole life. So from 18 months to 9, I was put on a very restricted diet and everything was going well. And at 9, a doctor told my parents, oh, she's cured. No problem. She can eat what she wants. And, you
Whoa.
know, at that time, I don't blame my parents for trusting the advice of a doctor, you know. And from 9 years old to 15 was truly where my health declined.
Mm.
And the connection between hindsight's 2020, and I can
Sure.
dive into that later as I discovered, but the connection between my battle with, obesity and also, you know, anxiety, depression, I really believe, and struggling with learning in school, it was all connected to what I was ingesting.
Really?
Oh yeah, for sure.
Even the learning part?
Yeah, yeah, I definitely, it's elementary school. This is all from the research and what I've experienced through healing myself. From 9 years old and on, I struggled with, paying attention in class, you know, continuing to struggle with just keeping the information I was being taught.
Mm.
I really believe it was linked to just I wasn't supposed to be eating what I was eating. And then having other people see the struggle of that. I had people speak things over me like you're stupid, and you know, that age is so hard anyways, and it just was a big spiral effect into not such a great world.
So people said nasty things like you're stupid and stuff like that.
Yeah, so I was tested for dyslexia a couple of times in
Uh,
that period, just because I was struggling. I was struggling. I went from not struggling to struggling. And these were people of authority, teachers, that, you know, it probably, I wasn't really trying, because I also believed that must have been it, you know, like I didn't feel good. I didn't understand why I didn't retain the knowledge. I did feel stupid. It all played into this story in my head. I also come from a family of autoimmune diseases, and weight is an issue. So again, the story of this is just what I've been given, you know.
So let me ask you to because I'm not sure myself. What is celiac disease?
It's an autoimmune disease where you cannot digest gluten. Gluten
Oh,
is, yeah. So it's actually very toxic to me. And everybody who has celiac disease, it affects them differently. For me, it is definitely intestinal and also mental. There's a lot of science between things that go on in your gut and how they affect your mood and your brain. And so yeah, celiac was the catalyst, I think, to a lot of different things.
so you said between the age of 9 and 15 is when
Mm-hmm.
your health started to decline. Does that mean like the obesity stuff started?
Yeah, I definitely struggled with my weight.
Okay.
Um, and being female in our culture,
Yeah,
and at that age, I felt like I stood out.
sure.
I was very tall for my age in comparison to the kids at that time, and I hit puberty young. I had a lot of things that made me stand out a little bit more than I liked,
Yeah,
not for positive reasons.
right.
And by 15, my symptoms changed. What were signs when I was little had changed during this period of time, and I found myself again very, very sick by 15, and was told by a holistic doctor, "You never outgrew this. You should have never had it." But
Mm,
at yeah, at 15, do you want to listen?
wow. No. No,
No.
I have a 13-year-old that doesn't want to listen. I can't
Yeah.
imagine what it's going to be like at 15. So
Yeah.
so so you at 15 things are just not good for you. Emotionally, physically, you're just and at 17 you decide you're going to do hair
Yep. Yep. That was
in northern Colorado. Why northern Colorado? Why not just do hair where you are?
Well, I wanted to get away from Hawaii.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, you gotta leave where you're from. I
Yeah.
was, from 15 to 17, school wasn't my thing. College, I was not college bound. I was determined to go light my world up in a different way. And, um, I found from 15 to 18 through, through hair school, again, because I was struggling with obesity, I found myself with diet pills because that's the solution to everything, right?
Diet pills.
Oh yeah, oh yeah.
Wow.
Well, yeah, that'll do some good to the system. So, you know, um,
Did it work? Did it help you lose weight?
well, of course,
Did it?
uh, it caused a lot of damage. It caused a lot of damage. Um, And the reason I quit taking diet pills is because I realized my hands shook so bad from doing, like here I'm going into a profession, I'm holding sharp scissors next to
Yeah.
somebody's head. Who wants to trust somebody that's shaking?
Yeah, no.
So I realized, well, that's not going to work.
Yeah. Wow. Now
um,
how long did it take before you realized that? Like,
luckily I was in school.
oh,
So
okay, good.
yeah, I quit taking them before I graduated, but I mean, because I had used them to maintain somewhat of a weight loss, um, I quickly gained weight because I had no knowledge of what I needed to do to maintain my weight without using a substance.
Yeah.
Um, and I think that's where a lot of people struggle still. But yeah, I quickly gained weight. So by the time I started doing hair, I found myself back in that place of bad health, obesity, struggling all over again.
But it's, I mean, America is now the fattest country in the world, right? I mean, so
Yes.
you just kind of fit in when you're, like,
Yeah.
I'm
Yes.
kidding, but,
Well, but what I want to stress too is weight is so personal to each person.
yeah.
Like, whatever makes you feel good is awesome. I completely felt uncomfortable in my skin. I didn't feel good physically, I didn't feel good mentally, and I was uncomfortable with what I had to look at. So for me, I wanted to, lose weight, and I just was lost in that world for a little bit.
So, and I want to interrupt for just a second, and you're going to send $10 to everybody that shares, right? I'm just kidding. I'm kidding. But hey, if you would share this out, she has an amazing story, and boy, you could help a lot of people here if you share this out. So thank you in advance to anyone who shared. So Kristin, so here you are. So when did you actually start cutting hair? So you got out of beauty school, is that what it's called, or cosmetology, or
Cosmetology, we've
yeah,
upgraded.
yeah, right. So I never say, "Hey, I'm going to see my cosmetologist."
No,
Like, I'm going to get a
no,
haircut. So,
hairstyle.
so you're how old were you when you graduated and started actually cutting hair?
I was 18. I have to,
18.
wait. I'm sorry. I was 19 when I actually graduated.
Okay,
And
19 years old. You
yep,
started cutting hair, and you said that you were. Did you say you were obese or overweight? Because you said obese at some point.
well, I guess for my mind it was obese.
Okay.
Um, it, if you were to get your body fat tested at that point, I was considered obese.
Okay.
I was overweight. I was really close to 200 pounds. Um, and for my frame, that's fairly overweight.
Well, that's not bad. I mean, you're 6'7", right? That's not
That's
bad.
right. That's right. Um,
I always say that I'm the perfect weight for 6'8". So so here you are, 19. And you said it earlier, like you didn't feel good about what you saw every day in the mirror, and because you're now cutting hair, you're in front of a mirror. You can't get away from mirrors. They're everywhere.
everywhere, everywhere, all day long.
And did you see
Yep.
it? Did you or
Yeah,
did you
I mean,
ignore it? Did you like go? I'm
well, I
looking
mean,
down. I'm cutting hair.
when you're working, you're focused on that person, but
Yeah.
I mean, you're staring, the mirror is a tool
Yeah.
that we use, and I stood in full length mirrors.
Oh, jeez.
Yeah, how do you not catch your reflection? um,
Right.
it was a constant reminder. And again, it goes back to how I felt on the inside was just a reflection of what was happening on the outside to the rest of the world. And that's the thing with weight. Like, it's personal. So to the rest of the world, they aren't perceived the way we perceive ourselves, right?
Right. Right. Yeah. Hey, and you and I we discussed this. I mean, I'm a recovered alcoholic, so I understand that self-loathing that causes you to tailspin into an addiction. Like, and I don't know if you would qualify yourself as addicted to food or whatever, but it certainly wasn't eating celery that did that, right?
No. And that is a huge piece that, is a part of the story is you use food. Food is created to be addictive. Um,
Say that.
our,
So, whoa. Say that again. What?
yeah, well, again, this could bring up some haters. I don't know. But, you know,
That's
they're
everybody's
they're
gonna
like,
have some haters, Kristen.
yeah, they're making a lot of money off of people being addicted to food.
Are
And
they?
oh yeah, food is engineered to be addictive. And, it's a huge problem. And most of the time people are unaware that that's what is really happening. And that's really where I help people.
Okay, so if it, and you and I again, we've had discussions about this. So one of the hardest things for, I would say, most people, and me, I own a business and I'm doing 1,000 different things all the time. So it's just easy to pop by Wendy's or Burger King and grab a double Whopper with cheese, mayonnaise, mustard, pickle only. And I hate soda, so I don't do soda anymore. I haven't done so. I was a Diet Coke addict, and I
Uh-huh.
quit that stuff. And I drink primarily water and some tea now and then. But you're on the go, like trying to meal prep and meal plan and do all these things, and it's like, let me just grab a couple sugar cookies and that'll hold me over for a little bit, right? Like, because I'm
Right?
starving, I'm getting hangry, and
Yeah.
we even see the commercials. The commercials for what's that candy bar? Oh,
Snickers.
Joe, you're hangry. You need to have what is it? A Snickers or something.
Snickers.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I mean that's a health food, isn't it? I mean, eating Snickers.
Sure. We'll go with that.
No, no. I mean,
Not at
so
all. Go.
yeah. So talk about like that. So here you are, and you're despising what you're seeing in the mirror every day. I'm assuming you work 5 or 6 days a week, probably. Cutting hair, you're showing up, and every day you're literally having to stare at what you just are not feeling good about, and
Yeah.
so let's talk about like that. Like, how did you? I mean, where did it go from there? Like, did you have a moment where you're like cutting somebody's hair and you just start bawling your eyes out because you saw your
No.
reflection for one last time? And oh,
No.
okay, I'm trying to make a movie out of this. Come
Yeah.
on.
Yeah. Well, to be honest, I think in the back of my mind, from the age of 15 to that period, I knew I wasn't dealing with the real issue, which was, I wasn't eating to help my celiac disease. Everything I was putting in my body was actually poisoning me.
Mm.
Um, I was in a lot of pain, didn't feel good. So there is a cycle that happens when that happens. Most people are like, oh, well, I'm not working out. That's the problem. Well, it's a small portion, but it's really not. Um, but really, I always knew I had to address it, and I procrastinated it because I didn't want to. I didn't want to deal with it. I didn't want that to be my reality.
Mm.
Um, and I actually ended up breaking my leg, at 22.
What?
And yeah,
Ouch.
it was the best thing that ever happened to me. I
That
know that sounds a little crazy. Um, but it was that moment in time that I had 3 months. I have a plate and 7 screws in my right ankle now.
what?
Yeah. Um, and it was a moment in time that I had to lay for 12 weeks.
Were you reaching for like a Kit Kat bar and you fell? I'm
No,
kidding.
I fell down the stairs. I fell
Oh!
down. Yeah, I was wearing socks too big and I slipped on carpet
Oh my
and I just
gosh.
fell just right.
Oh my
And,
gosh.
and all of a sudden, so I had surgery and I had this 12-week recovery in front of me. And at that time I worked in the restaurant business. I was away from hair. That's a completely different story, but, um, I couldn't work for 12 weeks.
Oh my
And so
gosh.
I had to hang out with myself and sit in a lot of truth. Um, I've never ever craved movement like that in my life. And it was the best thing that ever happened to me because I realized I had been taking full advantage of this gift that we've been given, and it's our body. That was the turning point for me. We only get one shot in this vehicle that we've been given, and I was really determined to figure out what my moving forward was going to be after I could stand on my 2 feet again.
But you've mentioned now that you've said celiac disease several times, and my question, because not everybody has celiac disease.
No.
Right? So what about the people who don't have celiac disease that are struggling with their weight? What about that? I mean,
right. So through this process, I have learned a lot about food that creates inflammation in the body.
Okay.
And I mean, I had a very high amount of inflammation because everything I was doing was a toxin to my body. So it created a lot of inflammation. So through the process that I put myself through, I realized that most people don't realize what is truly causing a lot of these problems. Again, we've been taught very different things, and all things can work. And there are foods that actually create problems in the body. And over time, if that's a part of your daily consumption, what could be an acute inflammation to chronic, when you have chronic inflammation in the body, you now have an atmosphere for disease, obesity, all these autoimmune issues, heart disease, high blood pressure, cholesterol problems, and it spirals. It spirals from there.
So so give me some examples of everyday foods that people eat every single day, not even unknowingly, because I don't think most people are just like, you know what, I'm gonna go eat Big Macs because I hate myself. I don't think that's the case. I think there's so much advertising, so much crap out there. I don't watch TV or listen to the radio, so I'm really not exposed to it anymore. But I obviously I've seen it. All the jingles, hold the pickle, hold the lettuce, right? So all of the jingles, right? So what are some examples of foods that people are eating? And I've heard this before, that you can eat certain foods that'll cause inflammation. Eventually they lead to cancer and all kinds of other issues, right? But give me some everyday examples that a lot of people consume and don't even realize it's hurting them.
Sugar is the biggest one.
All right. Hey, thanks for being on the show. It's been nice seeing you. I'm kidding.
Yeah. Most people want to hang up on me right there.
Yeah. Okay, bye.
Yeah. Sugar's in everything.
Sherry Matthews, who I love. I got to introduce you to Sherry. She literally just said white cane sugar.
Yep, sugar. And it is in everything. Again, going back to the research, the science, the right combination of sugar, salt, and fat in the proper ratio is more addictive than cocaine.
Good Lord.
It's being used specifically so that, again, if you love that Snickers bar, I'm going to get if you love whatever that looks like and you're addicted, well, who's making money off of that?
Wow. So, so sugar, and it's in everything, so the solution is just stop eating.
No.
Oh, okay.
Well,
I'm starting to feel like I can't eat now.
Right. It's such a small piece, but that is one example. I mean, you brought up the fast food thing. A lot of people, I get the struggle of convenience. I get it. Like, we are in a society that it is about convenience. We're all busy. We've got crazy lives. And again, MSG and sugar, those two, just those two things combined affect your insulin levels 3 times greater than sugar alone. So,
wow.
Again, going back to the science of the body, when you have huge bursts of insulin levels, high spikes in sugar, you actually create inflammation just from that alone. Like, so it's like layer upon layer upon layer upon layer of these different things coming together that I think create the big picture problem.
So is the solution just do a like one of those 3 or 7 day cleanses and no, and go back to Snickers afterwards?
I'm
not a Snickers fan, by the way. I don't even like
Yeah,
them.
I'm gonna get. I'm not.
Kit Kats now is a totally different. I'll eat Kit Kats for breakfast. So, like, I'm kidding. I don't really eat that much, but I truly believe what you're saying. I think it's true. It's 1,000% true. And I've read a lot about this. Probably not quite as much as you have. So here, okay. So I want to back up. So you were cutting hair for 15 years. You got tired of looking at mirrors, so you went to the restaurant business, right?
Yeah, that's a whole different story. We won't go there.
Okay. So you ended up in the restaurant business and ended up breaking your leg, falling down a set of stairs. Lucky for you, that's all you broke. That sounds right.
Yes.
So you broke your leg. You were incapacitated for 3 months.
Mm-hmm.
And you said you spent a lot of time sitting in truth.
Yep.
And, and what happened?
I kind of planned out what my moving forward was going to look like, and went back to my truth. I had celiac disease. I wasn't addressing that issue. Again, didn't feel great about myself at all. And I had never craved movement like that in my life. So I decided I was going to address my celiac disease and start eating for my health. I was at that crossroads where, again, going back to my family history, there's a lot of weight issues in my family.
Sure.
And I, for a while, told myself, this is just what I have to live with. This is my story. I have this, and I have, the family genetics, and this is just going to be my story. And there was a piece of me that I refused to believe it. I didn't want that to be my story, and I was going to find a way out of it.
So you had an epiphany moment, a wake up, and you made the decision at that point, no more.
Yes, because I had a history behind me of losing weight, gaining weight, never understanding why. And I knew it wasn't normal. I knew that wasn't normal. And I wanted to lose weight and be done and move on with my life. I wanted to enjoy my life. And at that point, I didn't. So,
wow.
It was the draw a line in the sand. No more, I have to do this for my health and my life. And it became bigger than just what was in the mirror.
But did you find yourself, I can remember when I was in the throes of being a practicing alcoholic, denial is very, very powerful. It is. And people would be like, denial's not a river in Egypt. And I was like, whatever, why don't you go jump in denial? Leave me alone, I'm fine, And people would say, dude, you need to learn how to control your drinking, right? But I was like, you need to learn how to control your mouth and shut up, like leave me the hell alone,
Right.
right?
Yeah.
So, but when how did you? I mean, you were all alone. You said you were alone. You sat for 12 weeks in your own truth. Nobody said, hey, you're fat. Do something about it, right? Nobody said that.
Well, I said it to myself.
No, I'm talking about external parties. Nobody outside was saying do something. So you just had that moment where you were like, I can't live like this anymore.
Well, and again, going back to, it took me having a broken leg and not even having the ability to walk, what is normal for all of us that we don't even think about. We get out of bed, our feet hit the floor, and we go. We don't even think about, I had 12 months to think about what a gift that was, and I was taking advantage of it.
Wow. So what happened after you became mended, your leg became better? What happened? And by the way, do you have a before picture? Just the before picture?
I have the one with the before and after.
Why don't you zoom in, just zoom in on the before. Hold it up to the camera. Hold on, let me go full screen here.
Let's see.
Yeah, there. Everybody can see that.
I don't know if you can see it clearly. I can't tell.
Nah, I get the gist of it for sure.
Yeah, it's on my page. I have it on my photos on my page. But yeah, again, the scale was at 197.
Oh my gosh! And how tall are you?
I'm 5'7".
And you were 197.
Yeah, and when I say that, there are a lot of people that are like, well, I'm a lot heavier or whatever. We all have, again, it comes back to that it's a personal preference and where you feel comfortable in your skin. And that was my tipping point. I couldn't go any further.
Wow. I mean, okay. So, and again, you've brought up celiac disease. You said, I'm going to address my celiac disease, but there are plenty of people that are way overweight that don't have celiac disease.
Right. You don't need to have celiac disease
to be overweight.
To be overweight.
Right. So, but you had a moment where you're like, I can't be overweight like this anymore. I don't feel good about myself. I hate life, whatever. I can relate. When I quit drinking, I was like, I didn't want to live anymore. And I didn't want to die. And I didn't know what to do. And it was like, I had to surrender, right?
Yeah.
So you got to that point. You got to that point where you were like, enough's enough.
Yes. Yeah.
And what did you do? Tell me what you did.
I started with what was obvious. I had to remove all gluten from my diet, and gluten's in everything as well as sugar. So I started there. And in the first month, I lost 20 pounds just from removing gluten.
What?
It's just inflammation. My body was so inflamed. My body was so inflamed that within a month, I was dumbfounded that I had dropped that much weight so fast, and B, I just felt better. I felt like somebody, poked a pin in the balloon and let some air out. I mean, like,
oh, jeez. Are you serious?
Yeah, when you feel uncomfortable, to lose a little bit of weight, you feel comfortable again, just to let the tension off of that.
Wow.
And that is truly where it began for me. I started researching what food really does. And so I went through a period of time. I was getting my health back. My confidence was coming back. And this is where I think I light up a lot of different things for people is what we use food for is not always to fuel our body. again, going back to, it's formulated to be addictive. It does make you, I mean, sugar is one of the biggest things that releases immediate endorphins. And we've been taught, if you feel sad, if you're angry, if you're unhappy, if you're happy, you should celebrate with food or comfort yourself with food. So through this process of really getting healthy, I realized there were some things that I was using food for to cover up. And that is truly where I used food to shine a light on areas in my life that needed addressing.
Wow.
Yeah.
Talk about that a little bit. I mean, you don't have to get real personal, but just...
Yeah. I had some childhood traumas that happened, and I think from that, not only was food toxic, the food I was ingesting for me was toxic, but it was also, I was using it for comfort, and weight also was safe. Being overweight was safe.
How is that safe?
Well, for me at the time, you definitely get less attention when you're, I didn't want to be seen. And being overweight helped me not be seen. And that sounds really bad, but that was my experience. That was my personal experience.
Sure.
I'm not saying that is for everybody, but for me, I used it as it was safe. It felt comfortable. Even though I didn't like it, it was comfortable. So as I started to lose weight and really started to be uncomfortable in being seen, it made me realize why. So I had to go address certain things in my life. Because I was found myself standing at a place where I had gotten my health, gotten my confidence, was feeling good in my skin, and this kind of surfaced. And I realized if I didn't go address it, I was going to go back to what felt comfortable and safe, and I was afraid of doing that too. So I had to go face some music and work with somebody to kind of move forward from that.
Wow. That's powerful.
Yeah.
It's same exact stuff with me. I mean, same things with the alcoholism. So addiction of any sort typically is going to go back to something that you have to deal with internally.
Right.
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 So you started dealing with these I'll just call them what they are, mental health issues, because I'm not saying like you needed to be locked up in a padded room, mental health.
Correct.
I'm talking about just some demons you got to deal with, right?
Yep. Yep.
So you started dealing with those, and what? So talk more about it. Did you see the scale start coming down?
Oh yeah. I was definitely, I found myself, and by this point I was about 25. So a couple years in, and I had added exercise, which really helped as well. Like I had turned this corner where health and fitness started to become more of a part of my life than what I had done in the past, which was nothing. So yeah.
Right.
So that is truly where things changed for me. And then, through that time, life happens to all of us. And then swung a different set of circumstances in my life. And I found myself a single mom and having to face some more truth. And again, coming back to health, I had found myself, it's stressful to go through a divorce. It's stressful to be a single mom. That stuff had manifested in me in a place where it swung the opposite way, where I felt like I needed to be a certain size to be accepted and loved. And it was of unhealth. So I found myself not nourishing my body at all.
Wow.
So I've been from very, very heavy to scary underweight. Scary.
So you went from one extreme to
another.
To anorexia or whatever.
I wouldn't go that far. I knew enough, and this is where, when you know enough, you can manipulate the body to do certain things.
Wow.
That doesn't mean that you can do it in a good way. I wasn't using it in a good way. I was using it to just survive. And really, because I hadn't addressed the inside again, that was just a tool I was using to like hold control in my life, but because of this, I have been able to see different things in people that I've been able to understand the perspectives of where they sit.
Sure. So, during all of this, after the broken leg and the spiritual awakening and the epiphanies and the divorce, and what were you doing? Were you working? Were you back to cutting hair? Were you in the restaurant business still? Were you doing roofing?
Right. I had gone back to doing hair right after I had recovered from breaking my leg.
Oh, okay.
So at this point, I was back at doing hair, and I loved it. I absolutely loved it.
You're like, dang, look at the mirror now, girl. Right.
Well, hair is definitely a piece of me that I love, and I still do. I absolutely love working with people and making them feel better. And that came from, those 12 weeks laying in bed going, what am I doing with my life? I hated working in the restaurant industry. I was talented at hair, and I decided that was where I needed to go back to. So, yeah.
Wow. So now you're back to you went back to doing hair. And that's so, I don't even know, I've lost kind of track of the timeline here, but you went to the restaurant business, then you went back to doing hair. But so and I cannot even believe we've been on here for 48 minutes already. That's insane.
I know.
Wow, that went fast. But okay, so you eventually got to a very healthy place.
Yes, I am back to a very healthy place. And the truth is both sides, from bringing myself from overweight to healthy, and then from malnourished to healthy, the same stuff. It's the same thing. And it comes back to the science of what the body needs. Everybody is different. And if you understand what your body needs, you can free yourself from this dieting perspective that we've been taught. I'm going to go on this diet or this cleanse or this, and you do it for whatever, 3 days, 7 days, 12 days, 21 days, but they're all out there. Different products. When you don't understand what you need truly, you're always going to be on the hamster wheel. Well, I'll do this for 30 days, and then what? Then what? You go back to doing what you did before, and it's this vicious cycle. I help people break free from this cycle.
Wow.
Yeah.
So what about there's things that are promoted as, hey, you got to drink this shake and you eat these things. It's a lifestyle change. It's not and as long as you continue drinking these shakes and doing this and this, then you're gonna, and again, I've done those things, and unfortunately, I have diverticulitis, so I'm some things just don't work for me, at all. And I don't understand the science behind it, but apparently you do. It sounds like. And so talk a little bit about So at some point, didn't you tell me that you became a certified something?
I'm certified in fitness nutrition, and so what that means is I have studied what body types actually need for activity level and filling your calories based off of those things.
Okay.
And then there's my health and holistic perspective of what those calories should come from to support the body at a very healthy, holistic state.
Okay. So there may be people that watch this and go, well, look at how beautiful she is. She's just lucky. She's one of those lucky girls that you know, and you know, like, what about those people? What about the ones that are stuck and they don't know how to get unstuck? They're paralyzed by whatever it is, and
Yeah.
you know what it is, I know what it is. But what do you
Yeah.
say to them? If I mean, if you're going to help them have a breakthrough, because look, if you're addicted to sugar, which I think I probably am to some degree, you know, like, dude, I don't want to give up my Oreos.
Right,
Right?
right. Well, I take I mean, there are a ton of health coaches and nutrition plans and perspectives throughout. So this is just my own. And what I take people back to the basics. I put them on a program that feeds them what they need and not always what they want, and walk them through a stage of building them back up to what they want. So my approach is a little different. By going that route, you expose the things that really need to be addressed. Because if you can expose that and address that, chances are that is why there are addictions to food or just bad habits. Just bad habits. You know, we have to break them all. It's emotional stuff, it's habit stuff, it's lack of knowledge, it's all these different things that come together that once you understand, you might make a different choice.
And I believe that, you know, I think, I don't know what the number one cause of death is in the United States anymore, but I think it has something to do with heart disease, and that can almost always be correlated in some way to food choices, being overweight, whatever. And I know that sugar, like a lot of sugar, also can set off cancer, whatever. I'm not a doctor, so I don't know all this.
Yeah,
But
and
I know that,
I don't want to scare anybody.
yeah, right. But I think though that it's something. Again, it's like I've seen so many people not be able to quit drinking, right?
Yeah.
I mean, I've seen it many times, and I always think, why? But then I think back to, you know, well, I was given a gift, maybe, I don't know, but like that moment for you when you like said, I can't do this anymore. Like I just can't. Was there crying involved, or did you just get? Yeah, Sherry Matthews, who is a cancer survivor, she's an amazing woman. She just said cancer needs sugar to survive. So
It does. And a lot of what they do now, I mean, depending on your doctor, again, I've done a lot of research of if somebody's diagnosed with cancer, they stick them on the ketosis diet, which I hate even saying that diet and that term, because I think, again, most people do use that incorrectly and cause other problems. But again, it comes back to lack of knowledge. But with the ketosis diet, I'll say that roughly, it controls your blood sugar levels, insulin. You're not eating any sugar. So yeah, there's a lot of information out there, and a lot of things work. It really just depends on why you want to either lose weight or get healthy. Like, what's your purpose and what are you trying to find?
Well, and Sherry Matthews just said, scare people with the sugar and cancer correlation because it will save lives. People
Yeah,
need to know. Like, they don't know.
it's true. It's true. And again, going back to acute inflammation. So if you are of health, you're of health, and you have a piece of candy, it could cause a little burst of inflammation. It's acute. But if your caloric consumption is filled with a bunch of refined sugar, you're now moving into chronic inflammation because your intestines, your gut, your body cannot heal from that. And that's where obesity, disease, heart attack, like the list is long when you go there. So weight is a side effect to what is so much bigger than just losing weight. People come to me to lose weight and they a bigger picture through the process.
Hang on. I think we had a little hiccup in the internet there. You said people come to you to lose weight and what?
People come to me to lose weight, but what I reveal through the process, it's a lot bigger. It's all these little things that equate to the big equation. And again, there are quick fixes. If that's what you're after, that's what you're going to get. And then after, you might be on the same hamster wheel. It's really about what do you want?
Yeah. If you know, if somebody called you and they were just like life was falling apart, they were, you know, overweight, they were, you know, I mean, there's a movie on Netflix called Fat, Sick, and Nearly Dead or Almost Dead or something. I don't know if you've seen that. The guy that does the juicer thing, and you know, and I have a juicer. I think I don't know if it still works, but we have one. You know, because it's like I'm gonna start juicing, and you know, so like, what are a couple of things that you would say to somebody if they just said, I can't afford to hire you, I can't, you know, what would you say to somebody that wants to make a change but possibly can't afford to hire somebody like you?
You need to eliminate as much refined sugar and refined carbohydrates from your diet. I'm not saying go low carb. I'm not saying that. You know, you hear the low carb diet, like, no. You need real food, and you really need to understand that refined sugar, refined carbohydrates all produce the same things in the body. Eat your vegetables.
Yeah.
And drink water. Get away from sodas. I mean, again, sugar, even diet, like, get away from that stuff. Give your body what it needs.
But diet soda's okay, right? It's good for you. They took all the sugar out.
Yeah, they replaced it with aspartame.
Oh. Is that bad?
Yeah, aspartame turns to formaldehyde, I believe, at 86 degrees. So what your internal body temperature is definitely higher than that.
Gee, many Christmas. Wow. So, okay, I think, you know, I cannot even believe we've been on here an hour. That's insane. That's crazy. Like, isn't it?
Yes.
It doesn't seem, did it go fast?
It did.
What the heck? So, I mean, I could ask you questions all day long because I love what you're doing, and you really are making a positive impact in the world, and I know you've got an even bigger impact to make, a huge one. So, number one, how can everybody follow you? Where can they find you? Where would you like them to follow you? Somebody just said, stop. Sherry Matthews said, living food for a living body. And Sandy McNichol said stock up on pomegranate.
Yes, well, and also the book that changed my life was It Starts with Food. You need to read that book. If you're at the place where you're like, I don't know where to turn, you need to read that book. It will shine a light on a lot of things.
It Starts with Food.
Yep, that book saved my life.
Okay. Sherry said, clean your toilet. Clean your toilet with Coke, and you will see with your own eyes why you should never drink a Coke.
Yeah.
What about Dr. Pepper, though? That's probably okay,
no.
right?
No, none of it. Get rid of it.
She says, Kristin, you are amazing. You are. You're amazing.
Thank you.
You're so I said it like the other day. I'm like, you're so happy and glowing and just, have you always been like this?
Nope. You go back and look at those photos. I'm telling you, I come from a history of anxiety and depression. And when I started doing this, it changed everything. Medication wasn't the route I wanted to go. I tried it. It wasn't for me. The side effects to those kinds of drugs were harder for me than just being depressed.
Yeah.
So through this process, fitness is a huge part of my life, and what I put in my body, I make a lot of non-negotiables, and I don't suffer with those things. So,
wow. You're incredible. You're freaking awesome. So how can everybody follow you?
You can find me on my personal page, Kristin Tibbs.
Kristin.
Or Kristin Hookie Tibbs.
Hookie.
Hockee Tibbs, Tibbs. And I am just going to publish my business page today, which is Faithful Habits.
Yes.
Yeah. Or at Faithful Habits, I believe is how you can search me.
That's so awesome. Everybody, please go follow Kristin. If you're not following her, shame on you. No, you're amazing, and hopefully you get like 600 or 700 friend requests today, and everybody make sure you're following Kristin. At least go follow her, and she's going to have her business page up today, and we're in the private Facebook group that I created. We're working on some other social media stuff too. So I'm honored to know you, call you a friend. I'm proud of you, and I didn't even know you before, but I know what the journey is like. I fought alcoholism for many, many, many years until I finally surrendered. Right?
Yeah.
And I quit fighting it. I just surrendered. Right?
Well, that's the piece. You got to surrender to the process and the journey, and the outcome is always better than what you think it'll be.
Yes. So, listen, thank you so much. I really appreciate you taking the time. And I know your husband's lurking about in the background somewhere, so thank him for allowing us to steal you away for a little bit, and everybody go follow Kristin on Facebook, and are you on Instagram as well?
I am Coach Kristin Tibbs, I think. I have to check. How bad is that? Oh my gosh, I said that. I better check. That's horrible.
She said, I think Coach Kristin Tibbs.
Yeah, that is.
Is that it? Good.
That's
and
it.
It's Kristin. So,
yes.
And Tibbs.
Yes.
Okay, and if you don't know how to spell coach, then so anyway, well, thank you so much. I really appreciate you being on here, and thank you to everyone who shared this, everybody who's been on here. You all are amazing. Kristin, thank you.
Thank you so much for having me. It's been so fun.
Good. I'm glad. We're gonna do we'll do a second interview down the road sometime. You rock. Okay?
All right. Thank you.
All right. We'll see everybody later. Have a great day.
Bye.